online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Constantine fans. Welcome to the Constantine AfterBuzz After Show. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. We are talking about Constantine, episode Blessed Are the Damned. I don't know why I need to cackle. I got Tauri Miller. Yeah, Isaac Johnson.
Hi, I'm not going to cackle.
What cackle?
Come on.
Cackle.
On behalf of Isaac. Isaac Berg. Yeah, me and Isaac Berg.
Thank you. Welcome, guys.
Yeah,
we are talking about, welcome back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Blessed Are the Damned. Yeah. I don't know why I feel like it's necessary.
Totally.
Stephen Lemieux in the booth, everybody.
Topper. I mean, we did have some dark, evil hell action going on, so they cackle in hell, right? Yeah. I don't know what to do.
I like that Isaac was like, yeah, that's what they do. What do you want to tell us, Isaac?
What do I want to tell you about what?
About what you know. Anyway, let's move on.
It's on page 4 of the Satanic Bible.
All right, let's talk about our preacher friend, Zachary. That's who this episode is mostly about.
Yes.
Who, at the beginning, we meet him, and he's creepy, right?
A bit. I mean, he just seemed really strung out, I think.
Strung out, like, exhausted, or strung out, like, on...
Not, like, on drugs or anything.
Okay.
Just, like exhausted. And you could tell, because, I mean, you find out that his dad is dead, and he's had to take over the church and stuff. So he's struggling to figure out his own way.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. And, I mean, you find out also why he seems exhausted later.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's tough to maintain a small flock, I guess. It's challenging.
Do you have experience with this?
No, I don't know. It just seems like it's probably pretty tough. Like, if the numbers are down, you know, probably pretty bummed out. I don't know that I thought he was, like, creepy per se. I mean, they kind of chose an actor who, you know, maybe looked a little creepy, I guess, but, like, I think kind of what he said, like, he was kind of strung out. And in the end, it sort of seemed like he was, like, they could have played him as, like, a really evil sort of guy, and but, like, genuinely, I think he thought he was doing something good, and he didn't want to give that up, and it, like, maybe sort of encouraged his faith in some way, but then when he figures out that it, you know, it wasn't good, and it didn't come from a good source, it seemed like he felt, like, repentant or something like that.
I don't know why the whole episode I felt like he had some underlying, you know, malicious intent.
Yeah, like he was. I thought so too, because even like when like Constantine like confronts him at his house, he just tells him to leave.
Yeah.
Like typically, like in like a bad TV show or something, like he would have like tried to kill him,
right?
Or tried to trap him in his house or something like that, and they didn't do that. I thought that was pretty smart for them to not go that direction.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, and because he's a super firm believer.
Yeah.
I mean, and that could, and we could get into a discussion about how, like, blind faith or, like, too strong of a faith could make you seem like you would be outside the norm, or, like, make you seem like you're capable of harm. Because if you're following this to the letter, to the T, then there's no saying what you will and won't do to uphold your faith.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, or like how bad you want it, that you'll sort of like make up something, which he's not making up anything. I mean, he genuinely has the power or something like that. But I thought too, like they could have really just focused on like making it about like religious fanatics and kind of going that route with it. But it was more like, it seemed like more in some ways it was like an episode about like some aspect of faith, even for like Manny, which we'll get into later. But.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit real quick about the preacher and his whole storyline.
Yeah.
We have this preacher who's taking over his father's flock, and he gets bitten by the snake. He dies, essentially.
Yeah. No, he does die.
He dies, and he believes that he is on his way to heaven, and he believes that he took a feather from an angel is brought back to life, and now with this feather has healing powers.
Right. Well, I was kind of confused on like when he got the feather, because he tells that story later on that he thought it was a deer. So like apparently there's some scene like where he hits something.
No,
that's different.
Or no?
No, he in the past ran over what he thought was a deer.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was not.
Because he was drinking and driving one night.
Oh, okay, so that's like a separate story. Because I was like, I was a little confused, like to see like, okay, like well, he gets bit by the snake, which seems like a bad idea to handle snakes. I mean, I don't know.
Well, so then
his daddy did it that way. He's going to do it that way.
Yeah, I know. It's like a thing that.
Well, so what happened was we later find out that that preacher, whose name is Zachary.
Yes.
Yeah. But
he established that.
Yeah. Did we not say it yet?
You said it like 3 times.
Have I?
Yeah.
Sorry. This
What's the
episode.
preacher's name again?
Zachary.
Oh, okay.
My issue is this episode specifically, we did not get.
Yeah, there were some names we found out later.
Zachary,
Yeah.
we didn't find out his name. I mean, they may have thrown it out real quick in the beginning when he and his sister are talking. His sister named, I wrote it down somewhere, Tara. And then Nate, who we all referred to as Leg Guy for most of the episode. So Zachary in the past.
Writers,
so like you see him die, and then you just see that feather in his hand, sort of all of a sudden, and I was like, my thought was, where'd he get that feather from?
Yeah. So before that, long time before, he accidentally ran someone over. He thought it was he decided to tell himself it was a deer, and that's when Constantine realizes that as Zachary's dying, it wasn't an angel at the gates of heaven, it was an angel at the gates of hell.
Yeah.
Well, gates,
he
really.
said
he said he died with like a mortal sin on his
so he was
record
going
or whatever.
Yeah.
But so that happened a long time ago.
Yeah. So then when he
and he
died,
just still had it because I guess he hadn't, I don't know, like asked for forgiveness or something.
Well, mortal sin means you're gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and it still weighed on him. Like in that conversation with his sister about their dad, she was saying that even before her dad had died, Zachary started acting really weird, like he was holding on to a burden that he wouldn't share with her.
Yeah.
And so later you find out that the burden that he was been holding has been that he thought that he killed someone while drinking and driving.
Right. And so he's like basically been holding on to it, like he didn't confess it somehow or something. Okay.
I mean, because I think that he hadn't forgiven himself, so he couldn't he couldn't ask for forgiveness because one, I don't think he had confirmation that it was a person, and so but he believed it to be, and so he was still really down on himself.
Yeah. Sorry. I was like late when I watched the episodes.
That's cool. That's why we're here, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That's why we're breaking it down for everybody.
Yeah.
The after show. So. What was that?
That was me breaking it down. Sorry. Also, this is me breaking it down.
Is that what that is?
Yep.
Okay.
For everyone on iTunes, I'm dancing.
I would call it movement.
Yeah, I also. So
Consider it broken down.
Yeah. Constantine realizes the preacher has this feather.
Yeah.
We'll get to how we got to Kentucky and whatnots, but he has to find the angel, so he asks Manny for help. Manny, the helpful guy that he is, because that's what he's known for.
Totally.
Showing up and helping. Assists a little, letting us know, how we can find the fallen angel who is injured. We then find out this amazing thing about angels, that they take physical form on our plane when they're injured. I know that sounds like it's not a good thing, but that's so cool.
Right. I mean, it's awesome, but like Constantine points it out that it's such a terrible flaw in their design. One feather can essentially ground them and kill them.
Yeah.
Why?
Why not? It's such a cool concept.
But like, all right, taking from movies like Dogma and other angel, like even Dominion, like in order to like become corporeal, they had to like completely cut off their wings. But this one, it's like you pluck one feather, and keeping in mind how often birds
lose their feather. Yeah.
It's just like, why?
I'm gonna say an angel's wings don't shed the way
they're
birds
not like
do.
birds.
I think they have the feathers they have.
They're supernatural beings.
Yeah.
I don't think they have like a shedding issue.
Right.
They
Also,
wear clothes. Sorry.
Well,
Anyway.
I don't think
probably
they,
for network TV
Yeah,
they wear clothes.
I think they don't have to wear clothes.
Okay.
I think
that's
a choice they make for us.
Yeah.
Because they all probably look like the Metatron.
Right.
So anyway, sorry, Dogma.
All these are Dogma references.
Yeah, I love Dogma.
That's a great movie.
Anyway, so we meet Imogen, who is this angel who is injured, and Constantine puts her up in a barn and protects her because he must go and get the feather, and the feather protects itself, really.
Well, it protects itself against like dark forces or evil or something like that.
Yeah.
So Zed has to get baptized to get it.
Did she have to get baptized, or that was just like the ruse to get close enough to the guy?
I feel like it was both.
Yeah, it was both.
Okay.
Because I also was wondering that why she could touch it and Constantine couldn't, but she grabbed it right after as she was being baptized.
Yeah.
Right. And like Constantine has a lot of different dark forces
He's
swinging.
got
Like
some baggage.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, supposedly he's like sort of like damned.
Yes.
You know, in the comics, like he's damned, and there's like no chance for him to get his soul back or whatever. But in this, like they're sort of hinting at possibly he can redeem himself.
I don't know if they've hinted. I mean, I know that they've hinted, but I think they've hinted in a way to like be like, this is a hint, but it's probably not true. You know, just to mess with him.
Well, I mean, but I think Manny at one point said that he is damned, destined to go to hell.
Right.
But he's like, maybe there's a chance.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
If you do enough good stuff,
They're
then
like, maybe there's a chance, but there isn't.
No.
Yeah. I feel like Manny would pull that crap.
Yeah, I mean, because you find out how compartmentalized everything is. So having this one angel vouch for you seems like it won't do any bit of good.
Also, I think Manny likes to, I mean, we see in this episode specifically, I think he really likes to, he makes up his own rules, kind of. He's like, this rule is worth following and this one isn't. We see that when Imogen, we discover, is not who she said she was. And she attacks Zed, and then Manny can't, Constantine can't do anything. He's like, Manny, help.
Well, like supposedly, like they're not like allowed to interfere.
Yeah.
Something like that. And it's like, I mean, I guess it makes Manny not like just like a complete he's maliciously like not helping, like he's not supposed to.
Right, but in my mind, especially because of the way that he ends up resolving this problem, where he takes Zed's place and then rips out Imogen's heart.
Yeah.
That to me says that Manny's picking and choosing what rules he follows.
But he said that he could, he was going to face consequences for it, which I'm wondering if he's going to become a Fallen, because the way that Imogen became a Fallen is she killed something. So, like, for him to do the same thing.
Right, but right before, right before he figures out, like, because after they're having that, like, nice conversation about, like, what's pain like, and, like, you see that, like, Manny's curious about that because he's genuinely interested in people. He's just apparently, like, sarcastic to Constantine for whatever reason, even though he's, like, interested in their experience. But she says, she starts saying, like, well, they have it so much better than us, and we could be better than them, and that kind of thing. He starts kind of agreeing with her, but then, like, he starts saying, like, you shouldn't talk like that.
Yeah.
And I think the issue of them falling is more on, like, basically sort of questioning, like, God or something like that, and saying that they know better than him because, like, he put it this way and that kind of thing.
Well, let's talk about this conversation that they had.
Yeah.
Manny is watching over Imogen in this barn, and he asks her what pain feels like, what it feels like to feel the sun, which are all, I think, like, reasonable questions.
Yeah.
And then Imogen starts to talk about, notice how they do whatever suits them. They do what's best for them. And Manny kind of agrees. And then I think he starts to realize that she isn't, maybe an angel from above. And we find out that she's actually, she's not just a fallen angel, but she's an angel who was stuck in hell. And that's how she gave her feather to Zachary so that she could come here. So that she could come to our plane and take over.
Sure.
Which is an interesting concept, and I wonder if she may have been part of this darkness that is rising.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have a theory about it, which I'll go into in predictions.
Oh.
Yes, I have such a theory.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Stay tuned. But I thought this was a really interesting conversation in and of itself, just because they, as angels, are responsible for... It's like if you were put in charge of millions and millions of children, and, like, they never grow up. they always are committing the same mistakes, and like you can't really teach them anything, and you're not allowed to help them in any way. You just have to watch them essentially self-destruct.
So then why would you bother being in charge of them?
Because you have to be. That's like their job, is to watch over us, the children, and they can't help us, and they can't stop doing it. But like they're forced to watch us destroy the world that they covet so much. So it's a bad rap.
I mean, that's how you get to situations like Dogma.
I guess so.
Yes.
This sounds like the biggest daycare ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Like 1 million children.
Yeah.
Well,
7
We are
billion
those
to be exact.
children,
Yes,
yes.
we are those children.
7 billion. I know, I got it.
Just to make sure you understand, humans are the children.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Well, I think that, like, I mean, obviously, like the point of jealousy is that there's like free will for people, and that, which, man, this feels like a real like religious debate here today. But I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we're dealing with this stuff on the show.
Talking
But
about
like,
angels.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But like,
Angels.
you know, but it does seem like at some level they get like a choice, you know, but like they basically have to defy. Because even like to borrow from like Dogma again, it's like that, like, which I'm like, I don't know, but like when like Matt Damon's character talking to Ben Affleck, which I can't remember their names, and Loki and something, I can't remember their names.
Bartleby and
Yeah. Bartleby and Loki, like when Affleck starts going off about like how much better they have it and all this stuff, that's what causes him to like sort of revolt, and he's like, you sound like Satan or something like that. So it's like, I think that's more the issue of like falling rather than like killing a person or something, which, I mean, I guess killing a person is probably not good for an angel either.
Right.
Unless they're told to,
I mean, they're not killing people, they're killing each other.
Yeah. But I imagine it sucks, though, because it's like, all right, so I get to experience this paradise, right? Which is heaven, and is supposed to be this giant paradise. But I don't have any free will to do anything that I want to do inside of it. And then if I do anything to go against that, I'm thrown into this pit of fire. So it seems unfair for them. So, like, I think that, I mean, and so I feel like in that context, you kind of relate to Imogen as a whole, because you're like, yeah, I get it.
Interesting. Well, this episode, I want to say, I think the preacher and the healing and the fact that then the people who are healed become ghouls.
Yes.
You know, an interesting story, but not as interesting as everything else in this episode.
Right, yeah.
There was so much more to this episode that was so much more interesting, I think, personally, than the actual, like, here is the plot and here's what they have to do.
Right. Well, I think it's because, like, that's the mythology that they're establishing, whereas everything else was just kind of like the monster of the week stuff.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about Zed and her love of angels, because when she found out Manny was there, she got so excited, and she was very excited to see Imogen, but not able to see Manny. Manny appears sometimes not as other people, right?
Yeah.
We've seen him appear to Constantine as Manny, but not as Manny as someone.
Right.
Well, we have seen him like in the pilot, like he's talking to the guy on the, I don't know, like a toll booth or something.
Right. So he's been people, but hasn't he also been not people?
He's been both.
So why did he need to be Zed the first time when Constantine is like, Manny? That was so fun.
Yeah.
All you had to do was say please.
Yeah.
I think that he just chose to at that moment. Like, I feel like whenever the time freezes, that's when he is himself, and when it's still real time, he will take over a body.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. But like, I feel like that is the correlation. Where if he's letting things play out, then he takes over a body. But if he is kind of stepping in for a moment, then he will kind of freeze everything around him and be like, I am here as me.
But he is also frozen time in a body.
Well, I'd have to go back and look to see that, but
he freezes time when he's the toll booth guy. The first time that he freezes time.
Then I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm dumb.
Okay. Well,
but I mean,
I
let's not be
appreciate
down
you
on
trying.
ourselves.
I tried. I did try.
I appreciate you trying.
I was buying it. It's definitely buying it. I guess this is sort of going back, but like, why doesn't Manny know that Imogen's fallen? Like, shouldn't he like recognize her from like working together?
So
or
he said that they compartmentalize things, and that I'm gonna assume, because I'm gonna bring in other shows and other mythology, but on Dominion, for example, we hear about all the different classifications of angels, and there are, you know, the higher ups, the archangels, the whatever, and so I think that because there are so many angels, and you know, Manny's job, it seems, as an angel is to come bother Constantine, and Imogen may be an angel who works in a different department. Let's say.
Sure. So she's an HR.
Manny is
development.
Annoying.
Well, he does. Like, it's funny because he does like say to Constantine at one point like something about watching over him. So it's like maybe he is there and he's like having fun with doing that and like sort of giving him little hints and like, well, you might want to go this way. Yeah. Even though he can't directly interfere, but like he is there to actually watch over him.
He's there to guide, as he says.
And he mentions that he has other people he has to help.
That's true.
But I would actually theorize that it's more of a. So we've seen what happens when two angels get together. They talk about, you know, what it's like to be an angel versus humans.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that like compartmentalizing them helps not breed this. Well, the word I'm looking for is unrest. It wouldn't breed unrest if they're all working individually.
Yeah, they would never be able to sit and be like, wouldn't it be nice if we had free will? Yeah.
And friends.
And lead to some sort of revolt.
Right.
I think that's a really interesting idea. Let's take a moment.
Sorry. I was going to say, on Zed, like, I do enjoy that she, like, you said she's, like, excited about Manny. Like, oh, where is he? And she goes all looking around for him. It's like, you can't see him. Like, but, like, I like that her character still has some level of, like, optimism, whereas, like, Constantine is completely, like, just cynical about it all. Like, he sees angels and all these things, and like, doesn't she ask him like, well, if you see all this stuff, then like, why are you so cynical?
It's a really interesting conversation about faith and about where she stands on faith, and how Constantine, who literally deals with angels
like he knows
demons,
it's real, but
and is still, I don't want to say atheist because he believes, but like he doesn't
he's not a religious person.
And he is very cynical.
Like he knows the existence of it because of like Manny and stuff like that, but he's just kind of like, it's just an annoyance to him.
Right. I would equate it to like Hollywood culture, where like everyone who isn't a part of it is like enamored by the idea and like what happens in Hollywood and in movies and all that stuff. Whereas like if you're part of the industry, it's like, okay, I've met celebrities, I've talked to people. Everyone is still human. Like there's its good sides and its bad sides, and so you can choose how you feel about it. But like overall, being a part of it gives you a completely different perspective on it.
Can we talk about how you just related religion to Hollywood and the industry?
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, there is a god of Hollywood somewhere.
That is amazing.
I'm hoping he's looking this way sometimes.
All right, I want to take a moment before we go on because we still have so much more to talk about. So many more concepts, so many more exciting discussions, and take a moment to thank you guys. Thank you for listening and streaming and downloading and watching and all that good stuff. As you may or may not know, we are clearly Constantine fans. Also, we seem to be fans of other amazing things such as Dogma and Dominion and Legion and all sorts of amazing angel-y goodness.
And Doctor Who.
And Doctor Who, that's true. We are huge Whovians. So thank you for joining us. We ask of you one very simple, easy thing. Go on to iTunes where you can download our podcast. That's right, you can subscribe and download and listen to us every week. And also leave a rating and a review. That's all we want. If you like us, give us 5 stars. If you don't like us, we will accept 4 stars. We'd rather you liked us, but whatevs, that's fine. 4 stars for not liking us. And a comment. Let us know what we're doing well, what we could be doing better. And we will give you a shout out right here, right now.
Right now.
For leaving comments. Take it away.
This one is on iTunes from Reflex123. Don't know what that means. He says, constantly good.
Nice.
Come on.
Clever.
Come on. For puns.
Nice. I love a pun.
Yeah.
I'm a comics fan, but never got into Hellblazer or Constantine, so I appreciate that the hosts have varying levels of knowledge on books and bring it to the table. The conversations about the character often mirror my own feelings. He'd also love if we had Zed on the show.
We would too.
Yeah, and he wants to see that Matt Ryan in lingerie because he would look good in anything, which he's a good-looking fellow.
We did give that that challenge 100.
Originally, you said 15, and now you bumped it to 100.
Yes. Yep.
That's quite a jump.
It has, because I could not remember the original number.
Yeah.
So 100 comments, not just ratings, comments.
Yeah.
And I'm working on it. Even if we don't get there, I'm going to work on it.
Yeah.
100 means I'll work even harder.
Why must we hold our audience hostage? Yeah. Can we just not have people on the show? Do we have to force them into some sort of agreement?
No, I'm just saying if they want to see him in lingerie.
Okay. Sorry, there's one more from Miss Reads a Lot. Says, great podcast for Constantine. I'm a little late in the game for the podcast listening, but this podcast is wonderful. Great humor between the hosts. The sarcasm and quick wit is fabulous, as is the walkthrough of each episode.
Aw,
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And that's it?
That's it.
All right. I want to jump into Zed this episode.
Yeah, I'll bet you would.
Yeah, I do. Let's talk about Zed, who looked amazing all episode.
She's not bad looking.
Yes.
Always. But also, she's kind of having this, faith issue.
Yeah.
And she's trying to figure out how she feels. And she talks to the preacher, and she also talks to Constantine, and she also then realizes there are angels in her presence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such an interesting dynamic to put Zed, who is discovering her faith, with Constantine, who's kind of running from it.
Sure.
Yeah.
In a way.
I guess because we still kind of know so little about Zed, is she rediscovering it, perhaps? You know, because we don't know enough about her background yet, which I'm kind of hoping to find out soon.
We will talk about what we learn.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say about Zed?
I have a theory about her past, so I'll keep that for predictions too.
Okay. Also, lastly, before we get into the Zed Eddie situation, Zeddy. Oh no. So when I want to talk about the heart, the physical heart that Manny tears out of Imogen.
Yeah.
Which happens to be concentrated evil, they say.
Yeah.
And he keeps the heart, and we put it in a jar at the end of the episode. I believe wholeheartedly that heart is foreshadowing something, because it's going to, I believe that it will be used soon as some sort of something they need. I think it's relevant, especially because Manny says that the barrier between hell and earth is thinner than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Especially with Imogen coming up. So, any thoughts on this heart? Because I really don't think that it was just I pulled out a heart and it's concentrated evil, and I'm going to say these words. We're never going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's joined the Millhouse Wonder shelves, so it's got to be used at some point. Like, though, having an angel heart and the fact that it's still beating is kind of weird.
A fallen angel heart, though.
Yeah, I mean,
be a demon heart, technically.
She's not a demon. She's a fallen angel.
Fallen angels are demons.
Are they?
I
think so.
I don't know. I don't actually.
I mean,
I thought
like biblically, that's what they are.
I thought demons were more like wayward spirits.
Yeah.
No, biblically, like Satan, like whoever went with them were all fallen angels.
Right.
Yeah, but
they're fallen angels,
but they're not demons.
Okay.
I think demons are different. I just found out what they called ghouls. I don't know what I thought ghouls were, but apparently, according to Constantine, ghouls are...
Scooby-Doo villains?
Yeah, ghouls are they're healed individuals with the evil.
Well, because
feather.
they were healed with evil, and they become evil or something like that.
Yeah.
Did you guys want to explain ghouls to me?
I can't
somewhere.
explain it.
It's in my notes. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. I thought the heart thing was cool. I thought it looked cool. I also was like, okay, so Manny isn't allowed to interfere, but
he does.
Well, but he does it through someone, because it's like, well, can he not necessarily affect people in his own form? He has to sort of like take over. Someone.
New prediction?
Not prediction.
Am I stepping on your prediction?
No, I'm I'm reevaluating my previous statements. He takes over someone when he has to interact with something in the real world, and he uses his own body when he's doesn't have to touch anything.
I see.
Tall guy, bartender, Zed.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
The homeless guy.
Yes.
Shoe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally valid.
Totally makes sense. No definition of ghouls?
No, I didn't. My writing's too small.
Okay.
So, yep. I mean, it's essentially it was people who were affected by like dark energy, essentially.
Okay.
Sure.
Because they were saying that he was using so much healing energy that the negative had to seep through.
Which is why we had all the dead fish.
Right. And so I think that was it balancing itself out, was the ghoul. Though I think Imogen also created them.
Right, they were supposed to get the feather for her.
Yeah, that's true.
But Zed did it.
Yeah. I also think that, like, as far as, like, Constantine keeping the heart, like, I find that he doesn't really care what method he uses to, like, get his job done.
Right.
So he's probably like, oh, this might be useful at some point. So whether we see him use it or not, he's fine with it. It's like dark matter, good matter,
Right.
you know, whatever.
I
like,
just
I'll
think
use it all.
I think them having the heart ripped out, having it in Zed's hand, him taking it and saying, "This is concentrated evil."
Yeah, you can't hold on to it for too long.
Yeah, is something that they're going to. I think that is 100%
Yeah, I'd like to see it
foreshadow.
introduced into
Yes.
the storyline.
Into the battle when we get there. All right, let's switch gears before we talk about Zeddy. Before we talk about that, I want to very quickly remind everyone that Chaz was off making good with his daughter. Chaz has a daughter?
He seems old enough to have a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem like the kind of person who, has a family. He's died twice.
But we know that he has a lost love, so there's a chance that he had a daughter with Renee, as he's mentioned.
Yeah. I want his story so much.
I was imagining that she was like an old lady, like he's this immortal creature, and like his daughter is super old.
I see.
Interesting.
But we never find that out.
No.
If you do want to know more about Constantine, at least for the comic books, you can check out there's a YouTube channel called Comic Storian, and there's like a really quick 6-minute breakdown of like the whole Constantine lore and stuff like that.
Nice.
Oh, awesome. Will you tweet that out for us?
I will
and our
tweet it
fans?
out. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk about Zeddy. We meet Eddie. I'm so glad with how we met Eddie.
Yeah, you know,
He was the naked model. So those who, for
we know
whatever
who he
reason,
was,
let me
yeah.
tell you, he was
This is
the
the moment
nude.
where-
Yeah, the nude model.
it's a moment where I was like, okay, this is Yael's favorite scene of the show.
Yeah, he was. He's very
She's
handsome.
definitely going to bring it up.
Of course I am.
Well, yeah,
He's
it's
the nude
part of the
model.
show.
Yeah, guys,
it
we
is
got to
part
talk
of the
about every
show.
moment. We skipped everything but this. He's the nude model that Zed is drawing beautifully.
Were you disappointed that he didn't get to see more?
I know that the show's on NBC.
I'm just saying,
so
were you disappointed?
No, I saw plenty.
You saw all that you needed to see?
They use their angles nicely.
They did.
Yeah, it was a really smart angle there because it kept looking like, oh my
Yeah.
god, okay.
He was very handsome. He hits on Zed. And at first when she was not having it, I was like, yeah, girl, you don't need him. And then she was like, actually give me your number. And I was like, oh,
Well, he made a solid argument. He's like, well, you don't have dinner or something like that. Just like,
whatever.
you got me. All right, let's do it.
So she stands him up, and then we get her in the bath. Also wonderful.
Not a bad scene.
I don't know why their relationship, I mean, I'm not complaining, but their relationship revolves around nudity. So far.
I don't know if we can call it a relationship at this point. They talked a
So
couple
far,
times.
it has revolved around nudity.
Okay.
One of them has to be naked during every conversation.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't know she was naked. She
Doesn't
saw
matter.
him naked, which that's pretty tough to be a nude model and have all your business out there, and then ask the girl out, and she's like, nah. Well, all right. I mean, I guess she's seen what she needs to see. She's like, no.
Yeah, she made an educated decision.
Yeah, like, no thanks. There's no mystery here. I don't need to worry about what's going on in there because I've seen it and I'm not interested.
Yeah. Well, while she's in the bath, and realizes she stood him up. He's in his car, and we see a mysterious man in the car with him.
Yeah, did you see the face? I don't think
we did see the face.
Did we?
Yeah, wasn't it just?
Yeah, I thought we saw from
No, we saw the whole face.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
your TVs are cropped. I saw a whole face.
I couldn't stop staring at the cross on his chest.
Yes.
I think that's what drew my focus.
The cross was very distracting.
By the way, if Tauri and I are right and Yael is wrong, you can ridicule her in the comments on YouTube.
Yeah, totally. Please.
Yeah.
Or us.
Or you can ridicule us, which we're probably
mostly
wrong.
Isaac, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can take it.
All right. So the cross is similar to Zed's cross, I believe. The one that we saw a few episodes ago that we were like, what's special about it?
Yeah.
Other than it's a cross. Well, it looked very similar to this man's cross. And he says, Eddie says to the man, she not yet or whatever, she's not coming. And the man says, soon then. What? I'm so excited.
Now that was the perfect chance for you to cackle, by the way.
No.
Soon then.
No. Blessed are the damned. That's where the cackle lives, not soon.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of ominous.
Can't it vacation after soon then? Yeah.
Okay. I think on that note, guys.
It took me like a second, but I got that. It's like, wait, wow, okay.
On that note.
Yeah. It's that wit they were talking about in the
It's
comment.
time for predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Okay. What we see in the promo is babies and nuns. Constantine gets shot. Zed is found by the mysterious man, and Eddie is somehow involved. What? Predictions. Tauri, you have a lot, so start.
All right. So I think that Zed used to be part of a cult. And so I think these are the cult members trying to get her back in there because she probably knows too much. Maybe these are her family members that she never talks about, and they're trying to get her back in there. So that's my main theory for that. My theory on the Rising Darkness is that since Imogen was so heck bent on not going back to hell. Yeah, I know. That happened.
Terrible.
Yep.
Heck bent on going back to hell.
All right.
So I think that the Rising Darkness is an unrest in hell itself. Like maybe there's a power struggle, or maybe there's like an oncoming war, and so everything that is there is trying to escape, and that's what the Rising Darkness is. It's like if there's a storm and, and animals are running, that whole thing.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh, Isaac, what do you got?
I think the Rising Darkness is a new band that you should all listen to. No, I think that the man with the cross is Zed's father.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
They have the same cross.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or it was a very popular item for everyone to buy.
Yeah, it was on sale.
Father's cross.
Yeah.
Awesome. Those are both great predictions.
What you got?
I think it's never going to happen with Eddie. I think that's a safe bet.
Oh, man.
I think because we're running out of episodes, that the Rising Darkness needs to arrive so that we can start dealing with it, as opposed to, it's coming, it's so close. Because I would really be bummed if after 13 episodes it then hits and it's like, oh, it's finally here, and then we have to wait for a second season. That would bum me out.
Yeah.
I think it would be a really fun finale. I think Zed's, it may be her father, and I think it may be that her father was a cult leader. I like both of those a lot.
I'd believe both of those.
Yeah. And I think Zed and Constantine will kiss by end of season.
Oh.
Yep, I'm going there.
Nice.
I feel like that's something you want to see. I don't know if it's something that's
It's the first time a ship is arriving on our show.
Really?
Feel like it.
And I'm going to call them Zonstantine or Ked.
Yeah.
Jed, like John and Zed.
No.
Jed.
By the way,
Jed.
cigarette watch.
There were some
2014,
cigarettes.
we had a cigarette in the mouth.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he flicked it out of his mouth.
He was done with it.
It's a proper moment.
Yeah.
What a litter bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. He also threw it. It was a field, and I was like, guys, no.
Usually green grass won't
It
automatically
was not
burn. It has
green.
to be dry.
It was not green
Was it?
grass. It was dry. Really panicked me,
Well,
guys.
maybe he flicked it really far.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this very full, very juicy episode.
Yeah, rich.
Guys, tell our fans where they can find you online. Isaac, take it away.
Okay. Thank you. That was a smooth transition.
Sure.
You can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson, Instagram, The Isaac Johnson. You can check out my YouTube page, also The Isaac Johnson, and check out my music video and a short.
Awesome. Tauri.
You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. That's TaurijAY.
Awesome. And of course, if you want to follow me, and I don't blame you if you don't, you can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. Also Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. If you're a Doctor Who fan, make sure you follow me on Twitter because I'm doing a giveaway. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll see you next week for more Constantine. Yay!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.